India made its Test debut in 1932 and took them almost 20 years to register their first Test victory against England in Chennai in 1952. The country then made slow and steady progress over the next couple of decades. A watershed moment in Indian cricket came in 1971 with series win in West Indies and England under the captaincy of Ajit Wadekar. This was the period which saw the great Sunil Gavaskar and the famed spin quadrant that conquered the cricketing world. And with 1983's World Cup victory, Kapil Dev and his men changed the landscape of cricket in India forever. On that note, let's take a look at some of the iconic moments of the last 20 years of Indian cricket. World T20 Championship in 2007. When the schedule of the inaugural World T20 was announced, most of the senior players in Indian setup decided to give it a miss. Thus, a young squad led by Mahendra Singh Dhoni went to this African safari. Like in 1983, the Indians were underdogs in 2007 T20 World Cup. India's campaign began with an abandoned match against Scotland. The next match was against arch rivals Pakistan, and it had to be decided in a ball-out after a tie at the end of 40 overs. India ended up winning the ball-out. In Super 8, India lost their opening match against New Zealand by 10 runs. The next match was against England, and Yuvraj Singh emerged as a hero, hitting 6 sixes in an over. India won this match by 18 runs. Having defeated the Kiwis in the semi-finals, Pakistan had also advanced into the final. Thus, a blockbuster awaited the cricketing fans, and the two teams didn't disappoint. And who can forget the last ball thriller as Misbah went for a scoop shot over short fine leg but was only able to give an easy catch to Srishant, and India won by 5 runs. 50-over World Cup victory in 2011. The World Cup was returning to the Indian subcontinent after a gap of 15 years, and expectations from Indian fans were high. This was also going to be Sachin Tendulkar's last World Cup, and nobody wanted him to retire without a World Cup trophy in his cabinet. In the finals at the Wankhede Stadium, Sri Lanka put up a good total of 274 with an unbeaten century by veteran Mahila Jayawardene. This was a big total to chase in a World Cup final. Gautam Gambhir and Mahendra Singh Dhoni, who had promoted himself ahead of informed Yuvraj Singh, were involved in a great partnership for India to take them closer to the title. Dhoni finished the match with a 6, and India lifted the ODI World Cup after a gap of 28 years. Tendulkar was carried around the shoulders of his teammates around the ground as the entire nation celebrated the victory. ICC Champions Trophy win in 2013. By 2013, Mahendra Singh Dhoni had achieved everything that an international captain could dream of. World T20, 50-over World Cup, and number 1 position in the Test ranking. So, when the 2013 Champions Trophy began in England, he might have been tempted to add another ICC trophy to his kitty. In a repeat of 2011 World Cup final, India was up against Sri Lanka in the semi-final. Ishant Sharma and Ravichandran Ashwin, with 3 wickets each, put a break on Lankan batsmen as they were only able to manage 181 runs in 50 overs. This target was achieved with ease with half-centuries by Dhawan and Virat Kohli. India advanced into the finals against host England. India batted first and scored 129 with some useful contributions from Ravindra Jadeja and Virat Kohli. In the last over, Englishmen required 15 runs to win, but Ashwin kept it to just 10, and thus India won the match. Test series win in Pakistan in 2004. India versus Pakistan. For most players from the two neighboring countries, it doesn't get bigger than this. This time, India was touring Pakistan for a test series after a gap of 14 years and had never won a test there earlier. But history was to be rewritten. In the first test at Multan, Virendra Sehwag became the first Indian to score a triple century. Responding to India's total of 675, Pakistan were dismissed for 107. Following on, the home team was bundled out for 216 as Anil Kumble took 6 wickets. This was India's first test win on a Pakistani soil. Pakistan came back strong in the second match at Multan to defeat India by 9 wickets. With the series tied at 1-1, fans from both sides were eager to see their sides cross the line at the third test at Rawalpindi. Despite losing the triple centurion Sehwag off on the very first ball, India made a strong reply. Riding on Rahul Dravid's 270, India scored 600 runs. Lakshmipati Balaji was the star bowler for India and took 7 wickets in the match. Kumble too chipped in with 4 wickets in the second innings. The victory meant that for the very first time in history, India had won a test series in their eternal rival and neighbour's den.
Subscribe to Oneindia channel and never miss an update.